everybody, Justin Watches Movies here. I got a very special guest of...
Adam of Almost Sideways. Glad to be back. 4 times already we've been doing this.
And in the heat of the summer. We're here today to talk about the best and worst movies of July 2017. And the best and worst performance like we've done in April, May, June, and now July. And we've got a lot more good movies to talk about. Some ones that we saw that...
that are poop.
Yeah, if that kind of gives it away, but we'll see where that leads us to this video.
We'll see.
So just like always, we'll talk about the best and worst performances of the month, and then we'll go with the worst movies and the best movies and kind of just end it nice. And just kind of talk about what comes out next month. August is kind of a dead month, but we'll talk about the July movies. We always start with kind of what we did not see this month that you would have liked to see.
Yeah, unfortunately, this month I just got super busy with just family and work stuff. But what I did not see Valerian, Girls Trip. What else? There's a lot. To the Bone I didn't see. Wish Upon. Ghost Story. There's just unfortunately there's only like one of those movies that I really, really want to see, but that was a Ghost Story. Mm-hmm. Oh, and The Big Sick too. That's those two movies are the two ones I was looking forward to. Unfortunately, by the time of this video, I haven't seen them yet. So, but other than the other ones, I hear negative stuff about them, but I'll check them out eventually. I
don't think there's anything I didn't see. I saw all the big blockbusters and some of the indie films. Mm-hmm. I pretty much seen everything. So let's jump right into this.
Let's do it.
We'll talk about the worst performances first. Do you have any dishonorable mentions for this month?
Dishonorable mentions? Actually, I do not. I don't. If you're talking about, characters I would like to see a little bit more of, mm-hmm. I'm saying that I would like to see a little more of Woody Harrelson's character from War of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah. It's not like it's a bad performance. He did a really good job, but just I wanted to see more of him, and I wanted to see also some more development from the Dunkirk cast as well. That's more of story elements. It's not like a bad performances because they all did pretty good job, but as a bad performance, I don't have anything that stands out.
Well, it was definitely like a well-acted month.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was like a big standout where it was really, really bad. I mean, some movies that I thought were going to be bad ended up being good and had some good performances. Yeah. But a dishonorable mention, I really thought that the cast of Wish Upon did a mediocre job. Joey King did an okay job, but it was most of the side characters that were being killed off by this wishing box. That they just, some of them when they were dying just was like the cheapest way to die and like overacting their death, which was really bad. And I also did not like Dane DeHaan's character in Valerian. Poorly written character and just you kind of give like a monotone voice and just didn't really put any effort and excitement into his role. So I would say that also he gave a pretty bad performance for that month.
It seems like he's like kind of peaked at Chronicle. I really like him too from that movie, and then he's just kind of peeling out.
Same kind of character from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it even reminds me of like a young Keanu Reeves from like Point Break.
Oh, gosh.
Kind of the way how he talks, and just kind of similar to that. All right, so let's move on to some of the best performances from this month. We got some pretty good ones. A lot of movies that had some really stand-up performances. So we'll get to your honorable mentions for this month.
I think Charlize Theron from Atomic Blonde really did a good job, and now that I'm knowing that she actually did her own fighting sequences, that definitely has to be put on the list. Tom Holland gave us the best Spider-Man performance, I believe, and he did good mixture with Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Also Zendaya from from Spider-Man: Homecoming. I really liked her character, even though she wasn't on screen as much. And James Corden from the Emoji Movie. I thought if you had to pick somebody who did a better job than the movie deserved, I think that he did a good job. Yeah. I liked him as his late night show too.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but the best. Oh wait, honorable mentions for you. Go ahead.
Honorable mentions. I'm gonna go with Tiffany Haddish from Girls Trip. Surprisingly, I didn't know we'd be sitting here and I'd be talking about Girls Trip in a good way. But Tiffany Haddish definitely was like the most realistic character in the movie. She was hilarious. She provided a lot of energy for the film, and I laughed like at every scene she was on screen. She just provided so much laugh and heart to the role, and I definitely think she did a great job. And so another honorable mention, I mentioned to you that I was going to tell you.
Okay.
The Sheet from Ghost Story.
Oh, okay,
so,
good.
Listen to this, and just bear with me. The ghost, I really felt like there was anger behind him, and there was love, and there was loss, and there was loneliness. He was sad. It was the same sheet for the whole entire movie with the black eyes, but the way that like they made the sheet slouch or positioned him, or the scenes they threw him in, I really felt that anger, or sadness, or all these emotions that he was coming off of the screen. I thought it was great. I don't know if it was Casey Affleck underneath it. It might have just been some random guy underneath it, but whoever it was did a pretty good job. And that's probably like the best thing of the movie was definitely the Sheet. The Sheet did a great job. Best CGI I've ever seen in my life.
Nice, that's good.
So let's get with your best performances from the month.
I think the best performance has to go with Andy Serkis from War for the Planet of the Apes. You know, we've seen this character grow and evolve for 3 different films now, and just really good to see his story come full circle, and he just gives a really powerful performance, and that he was able to convey like different emotions, his anger, his frustrations, his love, his sadness, and just like a full-fledged of emotions, and you can relate to that character as well. And it's kind of funny that we get a completely CGI character that you can 100% get behind and feel for. Yeah, it's awesome that he was able to depict it, and he definitely needs some recognition for this performance and these roles.
He agrees with your kind thoughts.
Apes together strong.
I would agree that it definitely was the best performance. We've got a lot of good development for Caesar throughout these movies, and this is definitely the best performance that he has given. He's seen some stuff. Don't want to spoil it for anybody, but he's seen some things that really kind of motivate him to his actions with Woody Harrelson. But the emotions that he's given off, and like his hatred, and just there's so much that Andy Serkis does in this character, and it's cool to watch some of those videos like that go around YouTube and Facebook about how they made it. And it's like you can see Andy Serkis, and then you watch Caesar, and it's like the same facial expressions. It's crazy what they can do now in cinema with the CGI motion capturing. He's done amazing jobs with like King Kong and Hulk and Golem. He's just done terrific, and they really need to like have, if more people start doing motion capturing, they need to like have like a category for in the Academy Awards of.
Or just give like an achievement in acting at the night before Oscars. You know, Jackie Chan just got his from last year, so it's like at least recognize those people.
He's done a lot, and like those movies that he's been in are huge movies. King Kong, Lord of the Rings, arguably like one of the biggest series ever made, and his character will always stand out in Lord of the Rings.
And also Star Wars too. So Snoke. And he'll get more screen time probably than this next one as well. So he's definitely a household, or becoming a household name.
He's directing Jungle Book Origins. I think it was targeted for next year, but he's a pretty good guy, and he was also in
The Prestige.
And he was in Ultron too.
Oh yeah, and so Black Panther next year as well. So it's awesome.
He was in the trailer at the beginning of the trailer for Black Panther, so he needs to.
And he's not CGI in that. That's the best part. So.
All right, let's move on to the worst movies of the month. We'll talk about the worst, get them out of the way, so we can feel good about ourselves. We get to the best movies.
Yes, please.
What is your dishonorable mention for the worst movies?
All right, so I might get some hatred from this, and it's not that it's a bad movie, and it's not.
I'm ready.
All technical. Technically, it's probably one of the better movies of the year, but I was disappointed with Dunkirk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think it is one of the best, and you'll definitely be seeing it in my honorable mentions for the best of the month as well. The only reason I'm putting it as for my least favorite is because a lot of the stuff, the brutality of what was happening on screen, I think it could have been handled a little differently if you know the characters and get to you'll feel a little bit more for them. When they get to the point where they reveal something, it comes across to me at the time of thinking about or watching it was kind of gimmicky. I was like, okay, so that's what they're going back and forth on certain time elements. But as a movie goes, it's by far one of the best edited and directed and scored beautifully. Sound effects are amazing, but I feel like my expectations were a little too high going in because it's Christopher Nolan, and I was like,
be the best movie ever made.
It's like, why do I feel this way about a Nolan film? I really do like Nolan a lot, and I think it's one of his, like, I think it's like, I have it as his 6th best film. I did a ranking on my channel, just because it's directed so well. Just as a story aspects, there's something that I wanted to see something a little extra that I didn't quite get. So it's I'm really conflicted about that movie. So still good, still directed really well.
I definitely see the structure was definitely the weakest part of the film. It was a little confusing in the beginning when they had like the 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour thing, and then they were kind of jumping back and forth with things. I was a little confused with that, and I think if they kept it more of like a linear structure, it would have been more impactful.
I think it also needed to be a little longer. Give that 2 hour rating time, not an hour 40. I think you could be able to squeeze in a little more depth in those characters and structured it a little better with having 2 hours.
And I completely see what people were talking about, like lack of character development, or you don't really feel anything to them. But I talked to my review that like it's more of an event, and they're just kind of there. But I could be persuaded that there was lack of character, and the characters like razor thin. So, but I did think that Harry Styles was pretty good in it, even for his limited role. I'm kind of curious to see what he does in his acting career.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
But just a little, which was nice.
What the movie did do good, I'm not a huge fan of Mark Rylance. I actually thought he actually did a better performance in this one than he did in Bridge of Spies, which is...
And he won an Oscar for that one.
Yeah, so I think he actually is like, wow, he was my favorite part of that acting ensemble was his character, and he had a little bit more depth for him, so I did care about him, but everybody else around him, I didn't. Yeah. It's kind of like, okay.
I always forget that he played the BFG, too.
Yeah, so that's another way I didn't really care for.
My dishonorable mention, I'm going to have to go with Wish Upon. Pretty bad, generic horror film. Like, there was no possession or demonic possession that was killing everybody. It's just, she made this wish, and then people started to die. Like, literally, it was a lady that her hair got into the grinder in the sink, and she pressed the button, and that was it. Like, there was no... like demonic possession like haunting over them, and so I was like, and the people that were dying around her, like, she doesn't even really know them, so why am I supposed to care that these people are dying? So go ahead, make your wishes and get a bunch of money, and then people die. Who cares?
So it's like Final Destination. Wish Upon.
Yeah, it's kind of like Final Destination. Final Destination had better kills though. But the acting was very generic scares, like birds flying around into the window, that kind of typical crap. Stuff. But, dishonorable mention. Hopefully, with the trend that's happening, they'll do a second one, and it'll be really, really good. Because Ouija was bad. Ouija 2 was really good. Annabelle's bad, and I heard Annabelle 2 is really good. So hopefully they'll make a second one, maybe like an origin for this, and then it'll be really good. And so that's what I'm hoping for.
We can only hope.
So what is your worst movie of the month? I have an idea where you're going with this already.
Hold on a second. Let me get my phone out because I have to text you an Emoji Movie quote. Definitely the Emoji Movie by far. It is everything you've heard and more.
So true.
It's so true. I took my daughter, we saw this last night, I took my daughter to see it with my wife as well, and I'm not going to say that it's like the worst movie ever made, because as an adult, it is the worst movie ever made. But at least my daughter, who's 3, and she at least laughed at it, so I appreciated that it was able to make her happy, but it's something I would never watch again. It's something that it will be on my worst of the year for sure, and it's just one of those movies that I hope they never get a sequel. To me, it came across as a cheap version of Wreck-It Ralph. They're trying to set up all this stuff inside your phone, and it just I didn't care about it.
Definitely was the worst movie of the month. There was like a lack of energy in that film. It just was like dull, and when your main character is a meh, like, I'm feeling meh already. Like that first trailer where he's just like, this is the Emoji Movie. Man, I was like, I have no energy, like, care to see this movie whatsoever if this movie's gonna be like this. And your character is a meh. I'm not really supposed to care about the movie. They don't even really care about what's going on. And so definitely the parents, they were like, they would have this kind of like energy film with like that Just Dance sequence. And they would bring it back to the parents, and then just like it cut the energy down, and just like I was kind of having fun with the Just Dance battle, and I'll be honest. And then it like went back to the parents, and then it's just like, oh god, there it goes again. There's the energy. It's just sucked out of it. So I didn't laugh, and just it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
And what you said that it's gone up to like what 6% now?
I think it's like 6%. Yeah. Which is...
It was 0 for a while, and then it went to 3.
Yeah, now it's up to 6. As of last night, about 11 o'clock when I came out of the theater.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the way over here, I actually thought of a better movie. You could still make an Emoji Movie, but the whole sequence when they're trying to, like, the kid's about to text something, and the emoji was about to be picked, that emoji is not in that box, and then they have to go out and try to find that emoji and try to find... It's like a mystery... Mm-hmm. Trying to find the hidden emotion. That would have been a better movie than what this is. So Hollywood, if you see this, sign me up. I'll write a screenplay for you, and we'll
do a remake.
I'll make a remake for you.
So yeah, I agree. That Emoji Movie was the worst, and I'm curious to see where it will go at the end of the year.
Yes.
All right, let's end this video with some good stuff. Yes. Finally, some good things that we're talking about. What is your honorable mention for the best movie of the month?
Obviously, as I mentioned, Dunkirk is just directed really well as well. Also, Spider-Man Homecoming. I don't think it's the best Spider-Man, but the best portrayal of that character for sure. And it's still a fun movie, and I enjoyed it for seeing Spider-Man on the screen again.
Yeah, I do think that Spider-Man was an honorable mention. I'm pleased with the take that Tom Holland did in the Spider-Man movie with Peter Parker. I think that he did a great job as Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Gotcha.
Like Andrew Garfield did okay as Peter Parker. Pretty good as Spider-Man, but there's no balance. Tom Holland did really good. I also thought that War for the Planet of the Apes was really good, and Ghost Story. Ghost Story was okay. The more I'm thinking about this movie a lot more. Like I would love to go see it again. Like for the first 25 minutes, it was literally the boringest movie I have ever seen in my life, and then it picked up, and then it was like it ended really profoundly and like made me think about a lot of things. So I'll have to throw a Ghost Story in there.
Which makes me really excited for it, actually.
Skip like the first 20 minutes. There's like a really bad pie scene. And then get into the rest of the movie. It's all good from there. I thought Atomic Blonde was pretty good. We saw that like almost a month ago.
Yeah, that was a good one.
She did pretty good in that movie. A lot of great action sequences towards the end. Some white knuckle scenes that I really enjoyed. But let's get to the best one. What would your best movie be?
War for the Planet of the Apes. Like I said about Andy Serkis, this is the culmination of everything that we've seen before. Matt Reeves did an amazing job directing this movie. I got everything I wanted out of the film. It wasn't necessarily a war film, so I can understand why people are disappointed by that. But I like the character development and character-driven stories, so this was right up my alley, and I really like to see the conflict between the characters. Wanted to see a little more from Woody Harrelson, so that's my one negative. But it's one of my favorite movies of this year, and a summer movie that's given as one of the best already. It's really awesome. So definitely check out War for the Planet of the Apes if you haven't.
Is it your favorite for the trilogy, or?
It's As I more think about it, it's actually my favorite of the trilogy. I
think
Dawn is right there too.
Yeah, very close.
It's like this, or on another day it's like that.
Yeah,
swapped.
I'll be curious to see if they like make more Planet of the Apes films, like because leading up to the Charlton Heston one, I'm curious to see if they do anything with that. But right now, it's a good trilogy. I'm gonna go ahead with my best movie, and that is The Big Sick. Going into it, I had high expectations, and I just thought it was Kumail Nanjiani playing someone. Then I didn't realize that he's playing himself, and he's playing how he met his wife. And I thought that was like terrific because it added like realistic approach to like his marriage. He probably added some sequences in there that weren't real, but overall I thought it was charming. It was hilarious. I laughed a lot, and I just thought it'd be like a rom-com, but it was like more of a comedy than a romantic film. And I just thought the relationship between Ray Romano, Holly Hunter, and Kumail Nanjiani, I thought it was great because she was in the coma, and so he has to build this relationship why she's in the coma. And they just did a great job with the relationships, the humor, the love, everything. It just was a terrific film, and I can't wait to buy it and check it out again. Definitely a very funny film. I just think that it was kind of original to have someone play that person, and you know that like he's been there. He can reenact it. He knows exactly what happened to the T. So it was interesting. I really didn't know that he played himself literally like 10 minutes before I saw the movie. I was like, oh my god,
that's funny.
I can't wait to see this movie now. So it's definitely one of my favorite movies of the year so far.
I dropped the ball on that one. I definitely need to see this as soon as possible.
I think it's still in theaters.
Actually, I'll be trying to see it hopefully this weekend.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Are you going to review it?
I'll definitely review it, yes.
Awesome. Check it out. Alright, there you guys have it. The best and worst performances of the month. I thought it was an overall pretty good month. Yeah. Nothing like glaringly bad besides the Emoji Movie, but some pretty good movies too. And now we'll move into August. Some things, it's kind of like a dead month. August is always kind of a dead. Last year we got Suicide Squad, which was really big, but nothing seems too big this year.
Like they always like put Guardians of the Galaxy like the first week, and the first weekend's like always the best one. So
yeah,
I'm only really looking forward to The Dark Tower.
Yeah,
and possibly Detroit as well.
We also got Kidnap finally coming out to theaters.
Oh yeah, I heard great things.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie. We also got Logan Lucky, which looks crazy fun, and Hitman's Bodyguard.
Let's forget about that one too. Terminator Judgment Day is coming out in 3D in theater.
I'll be curious to see that one too.
Yeah.
We got Annabelle Creations, which I've heard pretty good things about. Some Netflix originals, Death Note. I've been watching the series. Really good show. Really curious about it, but people have been bashing it, whitewashing and everything.
Oh yeah.
We got a Marlon Wayans movie where he's naked in an elevator for a long period of time, kind of like Groundhog Day.
Oh, nice, perfect.
Yeah, we'll see. Curious to see about that one. Got Glass Castle with Brie Larson and Woody Harrelson.
Oh, there we go.
It's got a good summer going on. And then I'm really curious about Birth of the Dragon. I like Bruce Lee movies, so it's kind of like a take on when he came to San Francisco and kind of had fought someone. So really curious about that one. That's the end of the month. But yeah, some pretty good movies. Hopefully there'll be some standouts, and then we'll get together at the end of August and we'll try to do like a top best movies of the summer.
Oh, that's a good idea. Great idea.
Do the best and worst of summer too, and best and worst in August. So look forward to that at the end of the month.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right, so this is Just Watch Movies. Go over to Adam's channel on Almost Sideways. I'll be honest, I check your channel and you're growing a lot.
Yeah, man. I got over 200 subs like a week ago, and I'm on 220 something plus. And man, I'm really excited, man. I'm appreciative of everybody. So come on, check it out.
You're doing a lot of ranking videos, and you told me before that you got a lot of good ones planned. So check out his channel for some good ranking videos. Alright, so this is Just Watch Movies. Remember to hit that bell notification down below on my channel and his channel as well. So go over to his channel, subscribe. The link will be down below for that. This is Justin Watches Movies, and you stay classy, YouTube.
And we will see you later.